right, here we go, hold on. I'll call to order the Town of Mount Desert Planning Board meeting for July 10th, 2024. Welcome aboard. We'll start off with introductions. I'm Chair William Hanley, Vice Chair is Tracy Loftus Keller. We've got Gail Marshall and Alan Kimmerly, regular planning board members, and then Ann Dalton is a alternate member, and I would first entertain a motion to vote Ann on as a voting member tonight.
So moved.
A second.
No,
Okay.
he got it?
Yep.
You got it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome aboard, Ann. All right.
The hardest working alternate in town.
Yes. And I'll also announce we still have a vacancy for another alternate member. If anybody here is a resident of town of Mount Desert and interested, contact the town office. All right, so item 2 on the agenda tonight, we've got some minutes to approve from the 26th, and that was for the fleet.
So moved. I've moved to approve the minutes.
Tracy Keller, second.
I heard a beep.
Yeah, that's, I turned that on, so
All right.
now you can see somebody's on.
Great.
Oh, is someone on?
It's Justin.
Yeah.
Yes, I can send him the login. Justin, pod just said it's.
So
For some reason, my video is not working. I might log right back in 1 second.
all right, so we have a question in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, there you go. Cruising right along. You know, and just I'll mention too, for the record, we have Jen sent the memo today about the minutes from the 3rd and the 3rd of.
There was one from January and there was one from March
March,
that we
right.
did not approve. And then there are 2 conditional use
Checklist.
checklists that Meredith needs to sign.
Yep.
But because it was so late notice, I felt like that was not fair to send them
Yeah,
out.
no.
But I will this week, and then you guys, well, voting members. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we'll
January 24th,
January 24th.
2024 was the boat rides when they did their chickens. In Hall Quarry. And then the other one is a fence for. Sound Trust over here.
Okay, well, we'll get those reissued and circle back to that, and I did send those checklists Jen sent me to Meredith.
Okay.
All right. Onward. Item 3 on the agenda tonight, we have a subdivision approval application, section 4.1, pre-application procedures for subdivisions. And tonight we have a sketch plan. It's subdivision 001-2024, first of the year. Owner is Broadway Cabin LLC, agent is Maria Spalino. Location is Aspen Way, Mount Desert, tax map 12, lot 13-29-005, zoning district is Shoreland Residential 5 and Rural Woodland 3. Purpose is to divide lot number 5 within the Solitaire subdivision. It's labeled as Amendment 4. We had a site inspection at 4:30. And was this one
Yes,
advertised?
it was nicely advertised in Mount Desert Islander on Thursday, June 27th.
Mhm.
So that's everybody.
Got it. And I'll ask if there are any conflicts of interest on this one, and I will raise my hand and say, I have one, I am a member of the Woods Road Association, so I should probably step down for this. So maybe someone can make a motion to accept my recusal, and then you gotta have a motion to vote the vice chair in.
So moved to accept your recusal.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, see ya.
I move to, we appoint the vice chair as chair for this meeting.
Second that.
Hooray, my turn.
That's way too easy, Bill.
Mhm.
Now you get to go home. You
No,
go
I'm
back in
gonna,
5 minutes.
I'm gonna sit here like
Sit and
a
listen.
good non-chair should.
Tracy, you confirmed adequate public notice and
Yes,
are butters necessary?
I don't-
They're not notified.
No.
This is an informal.
Did we do the
No
vote
worries, just double checking.
for you to?
I don't
Did I
know.
miss that? Did we do that vote?
I don't think so.
So do I get anybody care to vote?
Yes. All those in favor? Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, sorry for that.
Okay, so I think the first thing we do is have a discussion about the site.
So we met at 4:30 and Dorothea and Maria and I walked into the woods. We noted. Yeah, Alan remained outside on the cul-de-sac. We noted where the first proposed property line division would be. And did our best to follow that down to the back border of the lot, where it takes a rather steep down the hill,
Mhm.
steep climb down the hill. We stayed up above. It's heavily wooded, mossy rocks, rock outcroppings, just uniform throughout the subdivision. Beautiful area,
Mhm.
far back in. And then all the way at the end of Aspen Way, where it ends in a cul-de-sac. That's.
I believe it's a 12.6 acre lot being divided in half roughly. And as Ann said, it's a nice area. It's kind of at the end of the road, at the end of the road, at the end of the road, but not too many potholes.
No, that's an excellent dirt road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be that there's sufficient road frontage for driveways for each proposed lot.
I was there for a previous application, I
Uh-huh.
don't recall it well, but.
Yes.
With that, would the applicant or applicant's representative like to make a presentation to us?
I'm gonna let.
Oh, you're going to be the presenter? Okay. Why don't you introduce yourself? Is that-
Yeah, this is Justin Pajazic. I was having some technology issues there, so thanks for bearing with me. But my wife and I purchased the property about a year ago, or maybe a little over that, and have really enjoyed getting familiar with the property. But and we have a plan for something in the neighborhood of a 2 or 3 bedroom house, which as we've gotten familiar with the land, it's just become clear to us that we don't necessarily need the 12.5 or 13 acres for that size of home. So the intent we have is to divide it and have a very ample sized lot for the size of house that we're contemplating, but also to allow someone else to get to enjoy the remaining part of that beautiful area on Aspen Way. So that's sort of where we're thinking about the subdivision or division of the lot process here.
I don't know if it'd be appropriate to go into any detail regarding your application and any specific items that you care to point out about the subdivision.
What's the approximate size of each of the lots that you're proposing? Maybe that would be helpful to establish.
Sure. And we have that on there.
I think frankly, it's hard to read
Page
the
13
print.
and, yes, I think there's page
I'm looking at
13 and.
Amendment 4.
And we are working on getting the draft amendment for there has been
right, okay.
prepared in the past, so I'm working on getting a clearer copy. I would expect to have something that's a lot more legible here shortly. So what you have there is just a scan of what a hard copy I had. So I am working to get an electronic copy that'll be a lot crisper.
Okay,
So it's
Go ahead.
6.4 and 6.12. And that's outside of the roadway. Okay, thank you. Yes, I could see that. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I forgot
Yep.
that.
Does anybody here have any more questions along those lines?
I do understand that the test pits for septic were done by Bill LaBelle some years ago, and my understanding is that, and when you file an application, you may need to update that. Those test pits, they're not, as they stand, they may. And may not be adequate, there's an expiration date.
Do you know what the expiration date would be? I can check when that, I have it on my file here somewhere.
These were done in 2016, so is that 16, 2016? Yeah, the site evaluator, which I believe is Bill Bell initially, on the subdivision, should go back and just verify those test pits to see if they're adequate. For the soils and also adequate for the proposed design of the home you're gonna be building. On each lot.
Sounds good.
Does anybody else see any other technical components to discuss?
There's a little bit of this, very little bit of this, which is shoreland. And I assume that's from Round Pond, is that, am I
Yeah.
reading that correctly? And but it's a long way from Round Pond, and so I don't think there are any concerns that we'd have about house side.
No, I just have to at least maintain 5 acres if it goes with it.
Yes, exactly.
Lot
Yeah.
area, but other than that, and they're over 6 apiece, so there's no issue that I can see.
Right, okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question? I don't know if
Yes,
it's
yes,
appropriate or not.
yes, you may.
Thank you. I think probably a question for Kim along those lines. With where that SR5 line is. Can these lots be further subdivided or basically? No, they have to meet the minimum lot area. We would have 4 or 5,
5, yeah,
but the minimum will have to be 5, yes. Okay. Yep.
anything that's in that shoreland. 5,
Residential 5, yeah,
otherwise they'd be 3, right, the rest of,
That's
if
correct,
they
yeah.
don't have any.
that's correct.
Can I get your name for the record?
Yes, Dorothea. I did sign in.
I just, for the.
Yeah,
recording.
absolutely.
Thank you.
So. Does anybody else have anything to add? Okay. So this is just an informal review. And the next procedural step is Heidi, yeah, Kim. The next.
It's
proce-
completeness review.
Okay,
So that's the application that outlines everything under section 422, 422, 423. They will also need to do section 5, 6 of the land use zoning ordinance. And then they also have to address the subdivision, section 4404 of the Maine revised statute.
Right. And I don't wanna make any assumptions, but I am sort of assuming that this road that currently exists meets this.
Yes, that was verified when it was installed.
Yes, okay,
Yes,
thank you.
I crawled down specifically and measured the culvert.
It's one of the nicer subdivision roads we have.
Mhm.
Nice big turnarounds, nice and wide, unlike the one I live on. We won't mention any street name. We are working on that though.
Okay,
in that case, if you don't have any other questions. I think that would conclude our discussions this evening on this. And then your next step is to gather all your materials for your application.
yeah,
Terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have.
That
you.
sounds great. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it.
We'll see you again with lots more checklists.
Sounds good. I'm hoping to be in person for the next visit.
Okay. It's the time of year,
Absolutely.
anytime you guys.
Alright. So that concludes, the, section 3. Do we have anything in the other portion of our agenda?
I've mentioned to Bill, and I may have sent it to you too, that I met with Noel
Oh, good.
after our last meeting, and I
Mhm.
went home and spent a whole lot of my next couple days after that carefully reading and rereading subsection 4 of Luso, but nonconformities. And I brought to him the next day when I met with him, the concerns that I heard and I felt about fluency with that provision. Algie can just speak personally about that. And also about whether or not we could have some checklists and we could have some, and he, to my surprise, pointed to his computer and said, he's got those done, they just haven't been transmitted to us for our consideration, and so I sent that information to Bill, and I think I copied you on that too, and hoping that then we can have an exchange of that information, and when we have a slowish meeting at some point, we can get him here and put him on the agenda to talk about that. So, I was kind of, I was like, you already have that? He actually said, I imagine my name came up during that conversation. I said, well, I'm not gonna tell tales, but you could look at the record. So, I just wanted to mention that.
That's good.
And we won't have any Luso meetings till September.
Well, that's a separate thing, but yes.
Yes, probably the 3rd Tuesday. I
Yeah,
believe is
yeah,
standard.
I'm gonna be continuing to meet with him and I'll talk to Kim about that, but I'll coordinate with her. But yes, the committee as a whole has absented itself for the summer, so we'll roll with that.
It's all good news, happy things.
Yeah, yes,
All right, next on here is if someone would make a motion for the adjournment.
go for it.
I make a motion that we
Adjourn,
adjourn the meeting.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.